Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm going to give people a second to come on. And let me go ahead and do that. Oops, hold on. Where did my thing go? There we go. Okay. So I want you to do me a favor. Whoop. There we go. Raise your hand with your favorite emoji if you have lost a sale to a big box company like Costco or what's it called? An online travel agency. Okay, I'm going to give people a chance to get on and see the video. All right. All right. Let me go ahead. I'm going to share this in the group. All right, let me give people some time. Awesome. Okay, so many of us have lost a sale to a big box company, and it happens. Now, and I know a lot of us might have to be catching this on the replay, and if you are, that's fine, because I do know that some of you specialize in Disney, and a discount was released this morning, and in true stellar fashion, the system was not working, and you had to call in, and then I think, was it eventually working online? I only had to modify one because all of my clients had booked when there was free dining. So, and of course, free dining is better than the 20% off room. So I only had one that actually had it available. I had others I needed to check, but, and I couldn't get it. Like you would select it and then it would fall off. You would select it and would say, we cannot do this. Select it. So finally at 7 a.m. I call. And it was a 90-minute wait, but I even waited longer than 90 minutes, which is fine. Now, it makes me reminisce about the good old days from before, when back, I guess it was before 2015, to modify a reservation for Disney, you had to call in. You couldn't do online modifications. That was rough. The hold times were long. So hang in there, guys. At least we don't have to do this all the time, but the system did have a little meltdown, but that's okay. I mean, it happens. But my question is, would Costco do that for your clients? No. Would they sit on an everlasting hold? No, they would not, because guess what? That's not their business. Our business is a lot different than those big box companies, okay? And we have to remember that in the grand scheme of things. So if you're catching this on the replay, comment below so that way I know that you've watched it. And let's get started, because I know some of you might still be on hold. So, so let's talk about the 3 advantages we have as advisors who do this for a living. We are not order takers, okay? We're not just simply saying, tell me what you want and I'm going to book it. We know our stuff and we have a heart. So we're going to go through all of these different advantages. And these are based off of my 11 years serving over 850 clients and counting. I still book travel. So all of this is from my own business, which is why I was on the phone today getting the discount for my clients too, because I am still actively booking. So the very first thing we have to remember before we go into anything else is not everyone is your client. Okay. And the faster we recognize this, the better. Because there are some people who are all about the DIY and they just want to do it themselves. They get, the thrill of the chase. And they want to just do it all themselves. And by doing it all themselves, they're still booking. And if they're booking it through Expedia or Costco or something like that, they're technically still booking it with a tour with somebody. Okay. They just don't see it because it's just like, oh, I just do it on the website. And they're not our clients. Now we can promote the fact that, hey, you can put your whole cart together and spread the love and support a small business. But some people just like to do their own thing. So just accepting that is a big part of this business, that not everyone's your client and you can't win everyone over. All right. But that being said, here are the advantages that we have. Okay. We're not order takers. What we do when we are qualifying our clients is we're getting to the heart of the trip. We're taking all of the knowledge that we have, okay, that we've collected, and making it so that the person on the other side of the phone call or on the other side of the email or on the other side of the Zoom or on the other side of the table, we're making sure that they can have an experience that they're going to remember forever. And it's because we know our stuff. Okay. When we qualify, we get their expectations before putting work into a quote. So that is the first stop on the, making sure that people aren't shopping with you, qualifying them, asking them questions, get to the heart of the trip. If they don't answer your questions, then they're not your client. Okay. And then we are not looking at each experience, at each different component separately. We're thinking about the whole trip as a whole. Okay. Like when you think of, well, would I rather fly out of JFK or Philadelphia? With Philadelphia, I'm going to have a layover. I could just drive to JFK, even though it's about 2 hours away, but have a nonstop flight. And you have to explain that to them and say, you can have this, but you'll have fewer bumps if you do things this way. Okay. You might have to leave a little earlier, but once you get on the plane, you land in destination. And that's what I like to do as much as possible. So, and what we're doing when we qualify, when we take all of the different components and turn it into an experience for our clients or potential clients, we take away their overwhelm. When they are looking at 44 different room categories for beaches, Turks, and Caicos, that's a lot of room categories to know the difference between. All right. But we know that because we've been there. We've walked through those site inspections where you go into as many of those 44 categories as you can. And you get a feel for the location. You get a feel for the room quality. You get a feel for the proximity to things. Okay. That's why your experience takes away the overwhelm that people experience when they're trying to book something. Now, you have to have that experience in order for it to work. Okay. So make sure you're selling what you know, what you have, where you have been. Okay. That's a big part of this too. Okay. Number 2, we know our stuff. That goes right into my next point. So what we sell is something that we know. And you can tell them when you land at the airport, you turn left and you go to the end of the walkway, and that's where the shuttle driver will be. And they'll have a clipboard and you tell them your name. Okay. That takes away so much, just like anxiety and things like that. When you book with Costco or you book with Expedia, no one's there to tell them, this is what you do. This is how and people, again, some people are do-it-yourselfers and they like it that way. But then what happens is something goes wrong and Expedia is not there. Expedia doesn't care. They have your money. Okay. So the app can read a map, but it can't interpret what the client needs. That's why we can take what they need and what we know and make a great trip. Okay. So when you have ridden the transferred, been on the buses, stayed in the hotels, seen the different views, you understand what they're going to do. All right. The app can't do that. The app can just read algorithms. But real life human people who have invested their own time and money in going to these places so that other people can go and have a better experience, that's what matters between us and an app or a Costco or whatever it is. And like I said, some people don't care. They want that $500 gift card. Okay. So don't feel offended because that's just what Costco can offer. This is what we offer. All right. And finally, we have a heart. We actually care about what our clients' experience is. We think about them when they're on the trip. We think, we track their flights, even though we didn't, maybe not have booked them, but we still track them, make sure they got to destination okay. And your care for them carries on past the trip, or it should. And you then have a relationship, and people value relationships. They value people that make life easier for them. And an app is not a relationship. And in today's day and age, people are seeing more and more that we need more relationships. We need more people to help us, not just relying on apps and AI, right? Because, and that's what we're seeing. I mean, a lot of people are saying that people want to be out with people. Okay. And hopefully that means people will want to work with you. And because you are a professional, you're not someone who's an order taker. You're asking the questions to make sure that they're not making a mistake with their money. Okay. Because if someone picks the wrong room category, they're not going to have a good trip. Okay. So you can see that ahead of time. You get to know the people, you get to know what they like. And so that way they're investing their money and their time in a trip that's going to be meaningful to them. Okay. And you know your stuff. You should sell what you know. Okay. That is what makes sales easy. You sell what you know and you sell based off of your experience. Okay. You've walked the walk. You've walked the transfers. You've walked to the beach from the different room categories. You know what's going on. All right. And you care. An app can't care about people. All right. So remember that. And also remember, if you are on the phone trying to get discounts for clients or making modifications, that's where, that is where the differentiator. Expedia is not going to do that. Costco is not going to do that. Costco, if you ever read their terms and conditions, they're really they're very strict. But no, they're not going to call Disney and apply a discount so you save money. They already did their job. They gave you a gift card for toilet paper. You're good now. Okay. But, that's why we matter. And that's why you matter. And I hope you take that with you as you go through the rest of today. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.